We're going to continue our study of lines by talking about how to write and graph equations of lines. Now for linear equations, you may remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now we're going to look at an example where we're going to be given a line that's graphed for us, and we're going to come up with the equation of that line. So here we have a line given to us, and we can see that it goes through the points at 0, 4, and 3, negative 2. Now to write an equation of the line, we need to know m, the slope, and b, the y-intercept. So first let's start off by finding the slope. Now to find the slope, we can go ahead and use 2 points. Now 2 points are given to us, and use that to find y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have 4 minus negative 2 over 0 minus 3, which is 6 over negative 3, which is equal to negative 2. So this line has a slope of negative 2. You could also find the slope by looking at the graph and counting for rise over run. So if you start at the point at 0, 4, and you count down, you go all the way down until you hit 6, and then you go over to the right 3, so you'd have negative 6 over 3, which is also equal to negative 2. Next, we're going to find the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So in this case, it's actually given to us very clearly. It crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 4, so the y-intercept is at 4. Now we can write the equation. So y equals mx plus b can be written as y equals negative 2, that was the slope, times x, plus 4, the y-intercept. Alright, now let's look at how we can write an equation of a parallel line. So in order to write an equation of the line passing through the point negative 1, 1, that's parallel to the line with the equation y equals 2x minus 3, we're going to first need to understand parallel lines and their slopes. So recall that parallel lines are never going to intersect, and so their slopes are going to be the same. So we actually know if the equation of the line that we're trying to find is parallel to the line y equals 2x minus 3, we know that the line that we're looking for has a slope of 2 as well. Next, we have to find the y-intercept b. Now since we know the slope is 2, and we also know a point that it goes through, negative 1, 1, we can plug all these values in to y equals mx plus b and solve for b. So y is equal to 1, m is equal to 2, and x is equal to negative 1. Now we have b as the only variable here, and we can solve. So we have 1 equals negative 2 plus b, add 2 to both sides, and we have b equals 3. So since now we found the slope is 2, the y-intercept is 3, so the equation of our line is y equals 2x plus 3. Alright, now let's write an equation of a perpendicular line. So here it says, write an equation of the line J, passing through the point 2, 3, that is perpendicular to the line K, with the equation y equals negative 2x plus 2. If we're trying to find the line J, which is perpendicular to line K, then the slope of line J must be the opposite reciprocal of the slope of line K. Another way to find this is you need to find the other number that you have to multiply negative 2 by in order to get negative 1. Remember that the product of the slopes of perpendicular lines should always equal negative 1. So here we can see that we get m equals 1/2, which is in fact the opposite reciprocal of negative 2. Next we're going to find the y-intercept. So now that we have the slope, 1/2, and we also have the point that it goes through, 2, 3, we can substitute all of this in to y equals mx plus b, leaving us with b. So we have 3 equals 1/2 times 2 plus b. So that's 3 equals 1 plus b. Subtract 1 from both sides, and we get b equals 2. So now we have the slope, 1/2, and we have the y-intercept 2. And we can plug those numbers in, and we have y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Now just to verify what this looks like, if we were to graph both lines, we have y equals negative 2x plus 2, drawn in here. And then we also have our line j, y equals 1/2 x plus 2, drawn there. And we can see that these are in fact perpendicular. All right, example 4. Write an equation of a line from a graph. All right, the graph models the total cost of joining a gym. Write an equation of the line. Explain the meaning of the slope and the y-intercept of the line. Okay, let's start by finding the slope. In this graph, we're given two specific points, 231 and 363. We'll go ahead and use those 2 points to find the slope. So we have 363 minus 231 over 5 minus 2, and that gives you 132 over 3, which is equal to 44. Next, we'll have to find the y-intercept. Now, since we have the slope and we have 2 points, we don't actually need both here, but we'll just pick one of those points. Let's say we pick 231, and we plug that in for x and y, then we can solve for b. So y equals mx plus b. We can substitute in for y for 231. M we found is 44, and x is 2. Solving for b, we get b is equal to 143. Now we can write the equation. So y equals 44x plus 143. Now there's one more thing that we were asked to do here. It said, explain the meaning of the slope and the y-intercept of the line. Here's where you need to read the graph that's given to us. So we know that this is modeling the cost of joining a gym. On the x-axis, we have months, and on the y-axis, we have the cost in dollars. So at 0 months, the cost is 143. What does that mean? That's probably the initial cost to join the gym, because we actually haven't spent any time at the gym yet. Then the slope is going to tell us how much it's going to cost each month. For example, after 1 month, it goes up by 44. So this equation is telling us that the monthly fee is $44 and that the initial cost to join the gym is $143. Here's our last example today. Graph a line with the equation in standard form. All right, so standard form is when we have ax plus by equals c. It can be useful in some instances. For example, if you wanted to graph using the x and y-intercepts. But if we're trying to get it into slope-intercept form so we can identify the slope and identify the y-intercept, then we'll need to change this into slope-intercept form. So let's start off by remembering slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we're trying to get y by itself. So we're going to subtract the 3x over to the other side. So we have 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. And to get y by itself, we'll divide everything by 4. So we end up with y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. All right, now we can go ahead and graph the line. We'll start with the y-intercept, which is at 3. So we'll go along the y-axis and find 3. And then our slope is negative 3/4. So we will go ahead and use rise over run here. So we're going to go down 3 and to the right 4. If you wanted to go in the other direction, we would go up 3 and to the left 4. And that is the graph of our line.